You must construct additional pylons.
Welcome everybody to this beginner's guide on Tol-Ren, the newest and probably one of the coolest freelancers in Atlas Reactor. Today gonna go over just some of the basics of Tol-Ren, see what his abilities do, look over some of his mods, and then just do a quick versus bot match just to kind of display a little bit of his different kit, if you will. So let's go ahead and get started. Tol-Ren, just from a good way to think about him, a good way to think of him is he is basically a mix between Asana and Kagan, the two other freelancers, which kind of makes sense from like a lore perspective. Asana, Kagan, Su-Ren, and Tol-Ren all come from a certain group, a certain faction, and so a lot of his abilities are pretty similar to theirs. So you'll see this as we get going. So twin slash twice with your sword, dealing 24 direct damage on the first one. Enemies hit by both slashes take 34 damage instead. You gain energy for the first hit, 10 for that, and then 6 for each subsequent enemy. So the first slash is an area of effect damage slash, and the second one is a line slash. You can see there in the little video there. So this makes for some good combinations, some fun combinations, and there are a couple good mods that I like for this. The first one is Wandering Warrior, gain haste until the end of the turn. This is great. This means that if you attack with your basic attack, you can move 6 tiles, no matter what, which is great. The one that I'm really using right now, though, is Honed Blade. Each slash deals 34 damage, no longer overlaps for additional damage. So this basically just means that, what this means is that I can target enemies in front of me and enemies behind me and still do full damage to all of them. So it's a good way to be able to target multiple enemies. So that's just my personal perspective on it. So next we've got Ren's Fury. This is a free action 3-turn cooldown prep ability. Gain 20 shields. If you take damage this turn, direct damage this turn, that's important to understand. Your next attack next turn will gain 10 additional damage. So you get 6 energy on cast, 3 energy each time you take damage, and I've got the mod for gaining 5 additional shields. You can also reduce the cooldown on them, or if you wanted unstoppable or deal additional damage, you can do all that as well. But just from a gameplay perspective, Tol-Ren is a firepower freelancer with 150 health, so he's a little more tanky than some of the other firepower freelancers that are melee, but he's not indestructible. The other thing is that Tol-Ren has absolutely no way to regenerate health. There are no mods on his kit that allow him to regenerate health, so we need to be very careful with maintaining our health. So because of that, I opt for the additional 5 shields. Next we have Spirit Rend. This is a 4-turn cooldown blast spell. Slice the air, creating wave of energy. Enemies take 25 damage and are slowed, and you get energy per enemy hit. So this is it's a lot like Kita's basic attack, where she can direct it at an angle. You can do the same thing here with Tol-Ren's Spirit Rend. Focus Blade. So there are a couple different mods for this Spirit Rend that I like using. Actually, all of them I think are valid. Spirit Transfer, you can gain additional shields for enemies hit this turn, which is good. Focus Blade is the one that I'm currently using, just because I need a mod that has only one mod token. Range increased by 2, but only can hit 1 target. I like this. It gives you a long range attack on a melee character, which is great. Subsequent targets take 3 more damage is also a good mod, and then reduce the cooldown by 2, no longer slows. So this turns it into something that you can use every other turn. So this is also a very handy one as well, Spirit Master. Next we've got our dash ability, 4-turn cooldown, dash forward and stab, dealing 28 damage to targets hit. You can move after using this ability. So this is very similar to Kagan's dash ability, where you can move, deal damage, you can dash, deal damage, and then move afterwards. I've got the mod for increasing the angle at which you're able to attack. Again, you can direct your attack in a line once you've moved. Also, hit and run, gaining the haste, I think is an additional is another mod that is pretty valid. And finally, we've got our ultimate ability. It's a dash ability. Dash to a target location, marking the first enemy you travel along that line, and then during the blast phase, that target takes 55 damage and is knocked down. That's a really big thing. If your target dashes out of the way and you don't hit anyone else, you recover 50 energy. It ignores cover. So this is pretty complex, but basically you dash, and then the first enemy you dash through, you're going to deal damage on the blast phase. If that enemy moves away, and another enemy is still in that line, then your attack will go to that second enemy instead. If you move and the enemies that you're targeting dash out of the way, they blink out of the way, something like that, then you regain 50 energy, so you're able to quickly get back to your ultimate again, so it's not a complete waste. So there are a couple different mods that I like for this one. Vengeance Seeker is the one that I've got right now, increasing the range by 2. This means that you can dash from well across the map and do a lot of damage. Soul Splitter, deal additional damage equal to 15% of the damage the target took before the knockback occurs. So this is a good way to get even more damage on your enemies. And then Reaver, all targets crossed are knocked down. This is great if you can get enemies in a line. If you can get 2-3 enemies in a line and knock them all down, then you've really put them in a very bad position for the next turn. Catalyst, standard catalyst, turtle tech, shift, and second wind to keep our health up. And let's go ahead and get into a versus bot match. So we'll just do this. Let's go ahead and, yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's get into it. So the reason I do versus bot match for this, just to clarify, versus bot match, the only reason I do it is because it's easier, a little bit easier to predict what an AI enemy is going to do than a human enemy is going to do. And this really is to just give you a basic show of what the abilities can do, what they're used for, that sort of thing. I do play against humans. I'm not just a versus bot player, so just to clarify. All right, so it looks like our allies are kind of going to the right, so let's take a risk. Let's go up here to the left. Risk it for the biscuit, right? All right, so it looks like we got Zuki right here. She's probably going to attack me, so let's use our shield, and then we're going to use our main attack ability here. We do have a Nyx on the other team, but not likely that he's going to shoot us. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move up right here. So this is going to do 34 damage against her, and the other thing to keep in mind is because I've used Ren's Fury, my attack next turn is going to do additional damage, provided that I take direct damage this turn. All right.
Knock it off.
I got you in my sights.
So Zuki did not deal direct damage to me. That is surprising. She went for these two instead. Alright, so clarification. I am not going to be doing 10 additional damage this coming turn. Alright, let's go ahead and we're just going to keep using our basic attack here. We'll see if we can't potentially reach out there and hit the enemy. But I think that for now, we're okay.
Ever forward.
I think that the enemies are going to be targeting Lockwood, because he is in a very vulnerable position.
Thanks, partner.
Asana, possibly with the attack block. Yep, she tanked the damage for him.
Strike them down.
Wow,
Is it my
Lockwood.
time? Not yet.
So there we go. Predicted it. So in a regular match, this probably would not have happened. Enemies probably would have coordinated a little bit better to take out Lockwood, and Zuki probably would have attacked me. But we're going to take it for what it is. So let's go ahead. So you can see here that I've got my area of effect attack for the first. That'll hit both of these guys, and then let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Catalyst Shield this turn. So right now we're just using our basic attack, and you can see I did my second slash backwards. So there's so if I aimed it right, I did not, barely missed her. I almost got Zuki. So that's another little technique that you can use with Twin Slash, is that if you think you can predict where an enemy is going to attack, is going to move, then you can do some real damage to him. Let's go ahead and dash. Yeah, let's go ahead and dash. We're going to move out of the way of some of this damage, and we're able to do 28 damage to each of them, and then we'll get behind cover here. So, a little bit of a complex turn there, you can see. So we dash through, deal damage to them. I figured I would still take damage from attacks from Aurora and Nyx. That's okay. So our Lockwood is down, but their Zuki is down. And their Nyx is down as well. And their their Aurora is almost dead as well. And I've accidentally chased her. Alright, let's go ahead and use shield and basic attack. And then again, we're going to come back. We're just going to aim here backwards because there's a potential that maybe Aurora dashes or blinks behind.
I will not be broken.
You are not permitted to die.
Yep, so she did dash, and I did not aim it correctly, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. We are, in fact, chasing. I think I told it myself to, yeah. Chase her. Yep. There we go.
That's gonna cost me.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that that doesn't happen again. So we're going to make sure that she is rooted. Let's go ahead and get that healing, and then we'll chase after her again. So, this is our Spirit Rend. Basically, I targeted it so that it will go through Aurora, slow her down. But it looks like she's dead this turn. Yep. Alright. So, if none of the other attacks that happened, basically that would have slowed her down, made sure that it was really easy for us to target her and deal damage. Alright. Their Zuki is in a oh, I can't dash through their Zuki. Don't know where their Nyx is. I'm not going to risk using my ultimate like that. Let's go ahead and use the range. So we're using the basic slash, and the area of effect slash really isn't going to hit anyone, but the second strike, the line attack, is going to do some damage here. And I'm surprisingly low on health, actually. Got to keep an eye on that. There we go. Dealt a little damage to Rampart. Let's get in here. And I have a feeling that she's going to use her ultimate, so I'm going to go ahead and return the favor and use mine. We're going to move right there. So the reason I chose here to the right instead of over to the left, thank you for the shield, Lefsana. Yep, she's using her ultimate. So the reason I chose over here to the right rather than the left is that going to the left potentially puts me in a place where Nyx could hit me.
Cyclone shot.
Okay, so this is interesting. Rampart has dashed in between her and my ultimate. Okay, it still does damage to her. I had never experienced that, actually, so I was wondering if that was the case. Alright, so we're in not a good position. Again. Let's go ahead and... Can I tank it? I think maybe I can. Let's give it a shot. We'll come back here behind. So, coming back here behind, maybe not the best thing.
It does not end
because I am putting myself farther away from my allies. But there we go. So 34 damage on all of them, which is great. Damage on us though, not so good. And Nyx is going to take out Orion. And this is looking like a pretty grim turn of events for us, because Lockwood is almost dead. I'm not doing so hot. And Lockwood, for whatever reason,
to the front.
Lockwood, for whatever reason, decided that he wanted to dash into the wide open space. Let's go ahead and use my heal, and then we're going to come up. We need to put some pressure on Zuki. So we're going to move up this way, and potentially put ourselves in a position to use Rushing Steel to hit one of these enemies here.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Additional precautions are needed.
Alright, so there's Zuki is dead. If we can get one more kill, then we're going to be in a very good spot.
Only a minor setback.
So let's go ahead and dash in. No. Shoot. Can't dash in far enough to hit her, so let's go ahead and use our Alright, there we go.
Time to
So
delay.
we've slowed her, and done some damage, it looks like.
Warning, systems critical.
He's going for Rampart. It looks like our Lockwood is probably going to die. So she's hit and slowed, and then she's actually rooted. And Lockwood could have killed Aurora and ended the game. But instead, he decided to go for... What's his face? Rampart. Alright. Going in for the kill. Going in to end the game. And let's go ahead and move up here. Once we've dashed. So we're dashing across, dealing damage to Aurora, and then we're moving out of the way. Hopefully into a place where the enemies will not predict that we would have gone. So there we are. Big damage. And that's the game. That was a quick game, actually. Pretty quick match. So you can see some of the different abilities here. Using Rushing Steel to get in, deal some damage, and then move away, move around. Using our Spirit Rend to slow, deal some damage from afar. Using the shield to power ourselves up while also protecting our health because we're not able to regenerate health. And then using our basic attack to deal as much damage as possible. The other mod that I really like for Tol-Ren is the haste when using your basic attack. I think that's a very handy mod. It's definitely one that changes up your playstyle because you can use your basic attack and then run run 6 squares. So that's a big deal actually when it comes to positioning and movement and being able to strike and then move away to a place where your enemies potentially can't hit you. So anyways, something else to take into account. Thank you so much for tuning in for this beginner's guide on Tol-Ren. Hit like and subscribe, check out some of the other series going on the channel, and make sure that you look at the other character guides that I have for Atlas Reactor. So thanks again for tuning in here on Additional Pylons Games. Thanks for watching Additional Pylons Games. Click one of the boxes to watch another video, and click the circle to subscribe and join the APG Zealots. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and share it with your friends. Comment below and I'll see you next time here
on Additional Pylons Games.